fine. So we're just going to start off with our mudra breaths, which allows us to arrive on our mat and just center the breath in, ready for our practice. So we'll connect our index finger and thumb together, bring our middle finger onto the crease of the groin, and here we just want to think about taking 3 nice breaths into the lower lungs. Evening, Janine. 3 nice breaths, filling up that lower lung, just tuning in with the breath. So this is about quality of breath rather than quantity. And then you can bring your 3 fingers into the palm of your hand, bringing your hands back onto the crease of the groin. And this time breathing into that middle lung. Just feeling the middle lung filling up, those outer ribs expanding as you work with your breath. Hi, Vanessa. And then the upper lung, creating that passive fist, wrapping the fingers around the thumb in the palm of the hand. This time we're trying to breathe into the upper lung, feeling the collarbones expanding under the armpits, the back of the shoulder blades, this whole upper lung where we can get stagnant air leading to upper respiratory infections. And finally, the whole lung, bringing the passive fist under the breastbone. So here we breathe into the bottom of the lungs, filling up all the way to and then you can gently bring your hands onto your shoulders and mobilizing the shoulders, trying to bring the tips of the elbows together as the arms come round in big circles. And then rotating the opposite way. And then gently relaxing. So we're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder, feeling that left arm stretching away. Nice stretch through the neck. And then breathing in, bringing the head back up, dropping the left ear to the left shoulder, taking the right arm, feeling that pulling away. Feeling that stretch all the way through the neck. And again, breathing in, coming up. Take hold of the elbows behind the back so that you feel the shoulders pulling back and the chest expanding and opening. Draw the chin into the throat slightly. So you're not looking up or down, just drawing the chin in. And then turn the head all the way to the left again. Not looking up or down, just straight round, mobilizing the neck. And you breathe out next time, let it unravel back all the way around to the opposite side. And again, gently coming all the way back. So we can release the hands, and we can just lean back on the hands. Keep the legs nice and tightly crossed. Gently journey down onto your elbows. Let those knees drop out. You might get a clunk in the hips as everything begins to realign. And then come all the way down. Stretch those arms out behind your head. Lengthen the arms so they're nice and straight. Really bring those palms together. Don't just kind of let the hands, fingertips touch. Really feel the palms, the outside edges of the hands, the side of the little fingers touching. The balls of the thumbs touching, the fingertips all together. Angelina Mudra. Feel the length in the arms as you stretch those arms out straight like a spear above your head. And then just slide the hands closer to the crown of the head so that the elbows are rocking out to the sides, opening up your shoulder girdle, the hip girdle opening up as the knees drop out to the sides. Everything opening up, the diaphragm, that third horizontal plane of muscle working as you breathe in and out. And then just gently slide the soles of the feet together. Keep the heels close to the groin. Again, letting those knees rock out to the sides. And then as you gently begin to slide the hands away from your head, slide the feet away from your groin until the soles of the feet begin to peel apart and the legs become straight. And then push out through the heels, point the toes to the ceiling. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand and get that stretch through the left side of the body. Left heel pulling away, toes pointing to the ceiling. Stretching the side of the stomach and the pancreas. And then swapping, holding the right wrist with the left hand, stretching out the right side of the liver, the gallbladder. Right heel pulling away. And then gently bring the palms back together. Bring the left knee up to the left shoulder. Clasp your hands around your left shin or the back of your thigh. Draw your left knee towards your left shoulder so that you're opening up the groin. 3 lion breaths. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, roll your chest up. Inhaling as you come down. Exhaling. Inhaling as you come down. 3rd one. Inhaling as you come down. Swapping legs. Taking the right knee, the shin. Pushing the left leg down to the floor. Keep the knee coming towards the shoulder. 3 lion breaths. And gently bring both knees up to the chest. Stretch the legs up into the air. Feel your hamstrings lengthening out. And then rotating the feet, mobilizing the ankles, creating some movement in the ankles. Think about as you move the ankle joint, that ripples down and affects the knees, rippling down into the hips. And then as you exhale, just breathe out and drop your feet so they're hanging in midair. As you breathe out, just bend the knees, let your feet drop. And then inhale and stretch your legs back up into the air. Push the heels up to the ceiling. Lengthen through the calves. Exhaling, bending the knees, dropping the feet. So we're mobilizing our knees, but working our core at the same time. Inhaling one more time, stretching the legs up into the air. And then as you exhale, bend the knees, drop the feet, and bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. So we're going to do eye of needle. We're going to bring the left ankle to rest on the right thigh. And notice if you bring your ankle further down the thigh towards the groin, then it changes the emphasis. Bring your left hand between your legs and take hold of your right shin or the back of your thigh. And as you draw on the right knee, try and feel the right knee taking you slightly over to the right. So you just got that little bit of movement rocking over to the right side. So you can really feel it in your hips. Take a few of those yogic breaths, filling up the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying from the top to the bottom. Working with your breath. And then stretch your right leg back up into the air. Release your hands, stretch your arms in the air. Again, big lion breath. Breathe out, roll up to try and hold your right calf with both hands. And then let go of your calf. Again, bend your right knee. And what we're going to do is roll onto our right side. So as you roll onto your right side, your left foot comes flat on the floor. You use your left hand to lift your chest up and bring your elbow under your shoulder. And then you straighten your right leg. And then if you can, bring your right hand under the shoulder, flat on the floor. So you're lifting up and getting this stretch through the right side of your body. So it's like your left foot is supporting you, your right leg is out straight, the stretch is on the right side of the body. Stretch your left arm up into the air and lift your hips off the floor so that you're in a side plank, but with that extra support. Try and be in a really strong line and then spiral out that left arm. Make big circles with the left arm. Create some movement in the shoulders. As the arm comes round, you can feel it opening up your chest. And stretch the arm up and back, lifting your chest bone almost up to the ceiling. Keep those hips high. And then gently lower yourself back down. And roll back into your eye of needle. So we're back in the eye of needle. And then we can gently let go of the leg and swap sides. So this time you're bringing your right ankle to rest on your left thigh. And your right hand goes between your legs to hold your left shin. And again, as you do this, just feel yourself gently rocking slightly to the left. And notice if you bring the ankle further down the thigh towards the groin, it might make it a slightly stronger stretch in the hip or the groin. See how that feels. Take a few of those nice big yogic breaths, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying from the top to the bottom. Again, you can stretch your left leg up into the air, release your hands, Reach up as you breathe out to hold your calf, rolling your chest up. Again, exhaling to relax the chest back down, bending the left knee again. So again, we roll over onto the left side this time. The right foot comes flat on the floor, and we use the right hand to lift you up so you can get that elbow underneath your shoulder, and then straighten out the left leg. So you're in a complete straight line, and your right foot is flat on the floor, knee up. See if you can come up onto your hand so you get this deeper stretch through the left side of the body. Really feel that. Stretch your right arm up. So you're almost getting a stretch in your lower obliques here. And then with strength, lift your hips high as you can go. Really push that left hand into your mat to give you that lift. And then spiral out your right arm. Big shoulder movements, releasing your shoulder. Excellent. Stretch up, open up your heart, and then come back down when you're ready. Come onto your elbow, roll back into eye of needle. And then gently release the legs. Hug the knees to the chest and bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. Bring your palms face down. Slide your shoulders up to your ears. Squeeze your shoulder blades a little bit towards each other. Make this really strong shoulder base. Tuck your chin into your throat. Feet are hip width distance apart, parallel. Don't have the heels too close to your bottom. And then as you exhale, lift up into half bridge. Really push those hips up. See if you can hold the lift for a good few breaths. Feel the weight pushing down into the feet. Try not to feel like the weight is coming up into the chest, as if you're about to push yourself up your mat. Try and feel the weight transferring down through the legs, into the floor, through the feet. When you need to come down, exhale, breathe out, lower down. Breathe in, hold your breath. And then again, when you exhale, roll the hips back up into the air. Exhaling, lifting back up into half bridge. And then inhaling, stretching your arms out behind your head. Trying to still feel the weight coming down into the feet, but really pushing those hips up into the air. Excellent. And again, when you need to come down, exhale, bring your bottom down, bring your arms down. And rest for a moment. Nice. So you can give your knees just a quick hug against your chest, just to counter stretch. And then stretch your legs up into the air. Try and keep your legs straight. And use your core to lower your legs down to the floor, keeping your legs straight. So we're going to do a spinal twist. We're going to bring the left arm out to the side. We're going to bring the left leg up so the knee is at 90 degrees to the thigh is at 90 degrees to the body, calf is 90 degrees to the thigh. And then with your right hand, guide your knee over to the right, turning your head to look at the left palm that's facing up. Now you'll find your knee will be hovering in the midair, but see if you can just either let your foot rest on the floor, or if it doesn't reach the floor, bend the knee more so you can rest the foot on the inside of the right thigh, so that you've got a little bit of support, so that you're not using all your muscular tension to hold the leg in midair. And then because you're not holding the leg in midair, everything can relax a little bit, which means it can stretch a little bit. So we're keeping that left shoulder as our anchor point, and we're just guiding that knee over to the right. So again, think about your yogic breaths. Fill the lungs up from the bottom to the top, emptying from the top to the bottom. Even though you're challenging your rib cage and your breathing, secondary breathing muscles and your diaphragm, still try and maintain that yogic breath. And as always, you can retain the in-breath so that when you let go again with the out-breath, you can sink that little bit deeper. So we're just melting into this pose, releasing with every out-breath. As long as our left shoulder is still on the floor, we're not overstretching. You can slide your left arm a little bit higher up, opening up the angle between your arm and your torso, bringing a little bit of more of an element into the obliques, the lats, the shoulder. Still feeling that gallbladder meridian along the outside of the iliotibial tract, opening up. And then when you're ready to come up, breathe in, roll the leg back up. Relax the leg down to the floor. Bring the right arm out to the side. Bring the right knee up. This time the left hand guides the knee across the body, over to the left as you turn your head to look at the right palm that's facing up. And again, if your foot doesn't quite reach the floor, bend the knee more so that you can rest it on the inside of your thigh, or have a pillow or a cushion, an encyclopedia to rest your foot on. Obviously, for those younger people, you won't know what an encyclopedia is. You'll have to rest your foot on Google. So again, think about that, those deep yogic breaths, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying from the top to the bottom, challenging those breathing muscles, the rib cage, holding on to the in-breath without straining, so that when you let go, you twist that little bit more. And again, when you want to come up, it's that deep in-breath, pause active, so you can roll up and stretch the leg back out. Just check your alignment, that you're nice and straight. And then you can reach for your strap. So remember, when you use your straps, if you're not going to hold your foot with your hand, you want the strap to go across the ball of the toes and not the arch of the foot, so that you don't hurt the arch of your foot. So if we put our left foot in the strap, we can then stretch the left leg up into the air. You can keep the right knee bent to begin with. And when you pull on the strap, try to pull on the strap so that you're drawing the foot towards the back of your head, the crown of your head, if you like. But don't pull vertically straight down so that you're squeezing the hip joint and compacting the hip joint. We want that femur and that ball to kind of move up out of the socket to create space almost in that hip joint. We want space. Joints struggle when bones begin to touch. When there's space between the bones, then those lubricant synovial fluids can flow between the articulating bones, and we've got this free range of movement. When they touch, then we grind away the cartilage. So we want space in that hip socket joint. Now think about stretching the right leg out so that you're at more of a 90-degree angle between your two legs. Place your right hand on your right hip, and without letting the left leg go forwards down to the floor, just see if you can take it out to the side so it's coming down towards the floor. The strap is doing the work, so you're not having to strain. Again, you're still trying to create space in the hip joint. You're not pulling the femur into the body. You're pushing the heel away. And your right hip is anchored down with your right hand. As soon as you start to roll the right hip off the floor, you've reached your anatomical limit. There's no need to go any further. Try and feel the hamstrings, the abductors and adductors stretching out. Couple more breaths if you can. And then when you want to bring the leg back up, again, use your in-breath, activate your core, Uddiyana Bandha, drawing the leg back up. Again, find the angle, trying to draw the foot towards the back of the crown of the head. And then this time you can stretch your left arm out, hold the strap, the foot with your right hand, guide the leg across the body. Again, you might only have to go a few inches to feel it in that iliotibial tract, the hip flexors, the glutes, the piriformis. Try and maintain Uddiyana Bandha to protect your lower back and activate your core. Still try and push the heel away from you. And when you want to come back up, again, activate core, Uddiyana Bandha. Breathe in, bring the leg up. So we can gently bring the right foot into the strap and bring the left foot out. Again, you can bend the left knee and have the foot flat on the floor to make it easier to begin with. And just focus on straightening out the right leg. You might feel it in the hamstrings, the calf. Again, try not to impact down into the hip. Try and create space in the ball and socket joint. When you feel comfortable to, slide the left leg back down to the floor, stretching out the right leg, drawing on the foot. So we can place the left hand on the hip bone to keep that left side anchored and take the leg out to the right, working the abductors. The abductors, adductors, the gracilis. Again, you're trying to let the foot go out sideways, not forwards down to the floor, just sideways towards the floor. Keep that left hip and leg pushing down into the floor. Keep that left leg active. And you want to breathe in to draw the leg up. Make sure the core's active. Breathe in, bring the leg back up. Swap hand, bring the right arm out to the side. Find those angles. And then as you take the leg across over to the left, the right shoulder stays anchored. Don't worry about how far you take the leg across. Just try and maintain the right shoulder anchored and those nice 90-degree angles. The hamstrings are long. And then gently again, breathe in, lift the leg back up. Bring both legs up into the air. You can discard your band now. And then gently, using your core, lower your legs down to the floor. So we're going to have options here. We can either go straight up into a shoulder stand, or if you don't want to do a shoulder stand, the two options are you can use the wall to help you come up into a half shoulder stand, which I can demonstrate if you sit up and I can see you, and then I know you're not going to do your shoulder stand. Or you can do the circular movements with the legs to work your core. So if you're doing your shoulder stand, keep the shoulders up towards your ears, shoulders squeeze towards each other. Breathe in, lift your legs up. Breathe out, thrust your hips up into the air, into your shoulder stand. If you're using the wall, have your bottom several inches away from the skirting board. Have your feet flat on the wall, arms by your side, bring your shoulders towards your ears just like you would normally, and roll your bottom up off the floor using the wall to support you. You can then walk your legs up and have them straight, or you can keep the knees bent, and you can lift one leg up off the wall at a time when you've got one leg on the wall, foot flat on the wall. So if you're doing the wall, gently do that. If you're in your shoulder stand, now begin to lower your left leg down behind your head, keeping your right leg in the air. Scissoring. Excellent. And then gently bring that foot up from behind the head and lower the right leg down behind the head, keeping the left leg stretched up in the air. Again, breathe in, bring that leg back up. Just see if you can correct your shoulder stand, push your hips a little bit more towards your chin, and try and have the feet coming over the hips, not coming down towards the floor behind the head. Just pull those feet away from the crown of the head. So it's almost like you're in a straight line pushing up. Excellent. Then begin to lower both feet down behind your head into plow. If you've got a sofa behind you, it's quite handy to rest your feet on the seat of the sofa or a coffee table so that you don't have to bring your feet all the way down to the floor. But remember, this is a shoulder stand, so the weight is in the shoulders. You don't roll so far over that the weight comes into your neck, just so that you can get your feet closer to the floor. Try and stay with the weight in your shoulders. Take one more nice breath in your plow, and then bend your knees so they drop down next to your ears. And then using your hands behind your back, lower and roll your spine down onto your mat, using your hands to give you control. And then the soles of the feet just come down onto the floor. And we're back again as if we were going to do half bridge. But this time we'll do our counter pose, fish pose. Lift the bottom off the floor just enough to slide the arms and the backs of the hands under the bottom and the sacrum. And then rest the back and the bottom down onto the arms and the hands. Stretch your legs flat out onto the floor. So this is about the upper body. The legs and the bottom stay on the floor. We lift the chest up off the floor as if we're trying to look at the tips of our toes. And then we roll the head back so the crown of the head is just touching the floor. But no weight goes through the neck. Use your elbows to give you that big lift. Use your thoracic spine muscles to hold you up. This is a big heart opening pose. You can stay here, or if you like to add a little bit of core, lift your right foot an inch off the floor. See how that feels today. If it feels good, swap feet. Try the other foot. And if it still feels good, lift both feet just an inch. Literally inch, 2 inches is enough. It just activates the core, works that lower back a little bit more. Try and hold it for a few more breaths. And then relax back down. Release your chest, hug your knees to your chest. Couple of rocks to the sides. And then without touching the floor with your hands, roll backwards and forwards until you roll up onto tiptoes and are balancing on tiptoes. Well done, Jane. You get a yogi point for that. Janine, no yogi point for you tonight. Excellent. So we're balancing on tiptoes and we're bringing our hands to prayer position. Yogi points are like Tesco's points for those that are collecting them. You can use them in all good supermarkets in Bangalore and other districts of India. So try and breathe in, stretch those arms up. And then we're going to bring the hands to the floor. So we're not going to do crow, but we're just going to bring the hands to the floor and we're going to look forwards and kick the feet back into plank. And we're in plank. Good. So we're doing good for time. So we'll just hold plank, breathing, smiling. Couple more breaths. Pull that navel back up. Try not to sag in the middle. And then bend the elbows to point behind you and lower down. So as always, our 3 little baby cobras. It's all about the lower back. Just lift your head up, lift your chest up, look up. Feel your lower back do the work. Exhale, come down. Second one, breathe in, lift up. If you can lift your hands off the floor, lift your hands off the floor. But if that's too much, keep your hands giving you support. Exhale, come down. Third one, breathe in, lift up, hands off the floor. Maybe you can get your knees off the floor. Breathe out, come down. Fourth one, lift up, chest up, head up, knees off the floor. Reach your arms back, palms facing each other. Look up, close your eyes, imagine you're skydiving, beautiful blue sky. And exhale, lower back down again. Bring your hands back under your shoulders. Breathe in, roll up, high cobra. Keep those shoulders low. Lengthen through your neck. Keep your chest open. Try not to let your lower back pinch. If you need to be on your forearms, you can do Sphinx. As you roll back, take the hips as far back as you can, keeping the arms straight and the palms where they are. Curl onto tiptoes and then roll the knees up off the floor. Push back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Konasana. So you can bend your left knee and push your right heel more to the floor and then swap, paddling out the heels. Really lengthen through those calves. Take your time to really stretch out those calf muscles. And then we're going to breathe in, lift that right leg up high and swing the knee and the foot all the way through between the hands. Keep the foot on the back foot on tiptoes. If the foot isn't between the hands, shimmy it. And then lift your chest and arms up into the air. Big standing lunge. Open up your chest. Open up your heart. And then as you twist your body to the left, turn your left foot flat onto the floor. Keep your right knee bent and you're in warrior 2. Look at your right fingertips. So we've got the left foot pushing into the floor. We've got the right knee over the ankle, but not going past the ankle. We're not leaning forwards, we're not leaning back. Bottoms tucked in, chest open. So just find your warrior. So we can create a little flow, we can breathe in and come into reverse warrior. And you can breathe out and bring your right forearm onto your thigh and bring your left arm over your head. Again, you can breathe in, reverse your warrior. Left arm on the left leg, right arm over the head. But remember to keep that right knee bent. Don't straighten the right knee. When you exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Last one, extended side angle. Again, spiral out your shoulder Nice, fluid, round, circular movements to release your shoulder. And then stretch the arm up into the air. Drop the left hand behind the back. See if you can wrap it all the way round to the inside of your right thigh. Don't worry if it doesn't reach your right thigh. Turn your head to look over your left shoulder. Smile gracefully. Have a think about something that's happened today that you're grateful for. You can't think of anything you're grateful for. Think about your yoga teacher. And release. Spring back up into your warrior. Look at your right fingertips. So we're going to turn the body round again to the right. Stretch up. So this time that left foot is flat on the floor. We're still going to come into our big warrior one, turning the breastbone all the way round, leaning back slightly, little toe on the left foot pushing into the floor, right knee bending, and then exhale, come down, step back, downward facing dog. Find your downward dog, straighten out those hips. Come forwards into your plank, neutralizing. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, high cobra. Exhale, pull back, arms straight, lifting the knees up, downward dog. So this time we lift that left leg up high and we swing the foot and the knee all the way through between the hands. We keep the right foot on tiptoes, we lift the chest up, lift the arms up, find this big lunge. Left knee bent. As you twist to the right foot comes flat onto the floor. The left knee is over the ankle. And we're in warrior two. And then just accommodate, adjust, keep the knee over the ankle but not past the ankle. Try not to lean back, try not to lean forwards. Make sure your shape is nice. So again, we can flow with the breath. We can breathe in, reverse our warrior. A nice big side stretch. And we can exhale and come into our extended side angle. You just ebb and flow with your breath. Do what feels organically right to you. You want to stay in one pose for a couple of breaths. If you want to move between the two with each breath, just do and move how you feel your body needs to move, to create releases, space, length. And just gently end in your extended side angle. Again, you can spiral out your arm. Body loves spirals to unwind tension. A few times each direction. And then just stretch the arm up. Drop it down behind the back. Wrap it around as far as it will go, maybe the inside of your left thigh. Turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Keep that left knee bent, weight coming down into that left leg. Look over your shoulder. So if you're looking back on your day, think of something you're grateful for, however little, something that happened today. Feel that gratitude. Maybe it was something unexpected. And then spring back up into your warrior. So again, we do that twist where we rotate the chest round as far as it will go. And we keep the little toe on the right foot pushing into the floor. We bend that left knee, we lean back. And then we exhale and come down and step that left foot back. And we're in plank, sorry, we're in downward dog. Downward dog. So just a little bit more core. Bend the knees halfway to the floor. Twist the knees to the left and draw the bottom towards the heels. The arms are straight. And then spring back to the center. And then bend the knees again. Twist the knees to the right. Pull the bottom towards the heels. And then spring back. One more time. Each side. Bend the knees. Twist to one side. Bring the bottom towards the heels. And then spring back. Last time. Bend the knees. Twist. Pull the bottom towards the heels. The arms become straight. The chest lowers to the floor. And then feel that energy spring you back. Then bend the knees. Look forwards. Hop into the middle of your mat. And again, see if you can balance on tiptoes. Exhale and sit down. Lovely. So we're going to sit with the legs crossed in whatever is comfortable for you. We're going to bring left arm up for Gardhanasana, right elbow underneath, backs of hands or palms coming together. So if you prefer to just hold your pose statically, keep the elbows low, shoulders relaxed, but lift up from the tummy. Keep the neck neutral. Stay here. You can always put your thumb onto your third eye. Breathe into your third eye. You want to create your flow. Breathe in, lift the elbows up. When you breathe out, bring the elbows down. Again, don't collapse at the tummy. Keep the chest and the core lifting you up. So whatever again feels organic, natural and correct for you. You might feel that stillness will make the stretch deeper for you. Or maybe you need some movement. The slower you breathe, the slower you flow. That last in-breath, if you're flowing, look up, lean back. And then everyone can exhale and bend forwards. Just hand down. Inhale to come up. Release the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then this time bring your right elbow up and the left elbow underneath. Again, backs of hands or palms together. So you can sit statically, placing the thumb on the third eye between your eyebrows. Or you can flow with the breath. And exhale, the elbows come down. You inhale, the elbows lift up. You can still think about that yogic breath. And again, you can breathe in, lift up, look up, lean back. And then everyone exhale, bend forwards, hand down. Breathe in to come up. Unfold the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And release the arms. So if your legs are crossed one way, swap over so that the opposite leg is in front. It will feel a little bit odd. And we'll just finish with a Gomukhasana before lying down into Shavasana. So left arm down behind the head, right arm down and up. I know we do this one a lot, but it's one of the best poses for that upper body. Opening the heart, the small intestines, releasing the shoulders. Try and keep the neck long, comfortable. Relax the jaw. Don't strain or bend forwards to feel like you're getting the hands closer together. The bind isn't what's important. It's the opening up that you feel. And of course, the breath. Notice how it feels to breathe deeply in that yogic manner, in this asymmetrical pose. Gently swap the hands round. Yeah, and if this side feels a bit tighter, make sure the jaw's relaxed, the neck's relaxed, you're not straining. And again, gently releasing. So you might want to cross your legs back to what feels more natural to you. So we started with the 3 mudras for the lungs, and we're going to finish with them, but we're going to bring in the sound A, R for the lower lung, U for the middle lung, with the lips closed for the upper lung, and then Om for the whole of the lungs. And then we'll gently, when you're ready, rest backwards into your Shavasana. But you can sit after you finished your Oms for a few breaths just to feel that lovely peace that comes from it. So bring your index fingers and thumbs together, bring the middle finger onto the crease of the groin. 3 times, breathing into the lower lung. Three fingers into the palm, middle lung. Passive fist for the upper lung. Passive fist under the breastbone. Your own time, lean back on your hand, and down onto your elbows, just how we did at the beginning. And all the way down, arms by your sides, knees opening at the hips. And then just gently slide the legs out into your Shavasana. And as you rest there for the first part of your Shavasana, just imagine making silent oms in your mind. And as you do this in your mind, imagine you're breathing in and out from your third eye between your eyebrows. Silent oms with intent, that vibrational sound that awakens the chakras. Sound heard at the moment of creation of the universe. Silent oms through the third eye. And just rest in stillness for a couple of minutes. Just rest in that calmness. In your own time, and give your knees a hug. Have a gentle rock from side to side. Rolling over onto your left side, resting for a moment before rolling back up to sitting.